Hey everybody, how's it going? Jason Lawrence here. Today I want to talk about how do you know that the building cost your builder gives you isn't going to change. I've got this question a lot in a Facebook group called New Home Building Q&A. And really there's two things that kind of go into this. Number one, you want to find out if the builder that you're using is a cost plus builder or are they a fixed price builder. So basically, when they put together your building contract, are they giving you an amount and saying, we're gonna build this home, including all of these things that are listed here for X amount of dollars? Or is it going to be, they put together a cost for the home you wanna build, including everything that you want. They're showing you what the framing is, what the lumber is, how much the windows are, and there's going to be a 10 or 15% markup that is put on top of that. That would be a cost plus. Now the difference between the two, real quick, I just wanted to jump in and talk about the course that I just finished up with. It's a video course that's gonna guide you step by step through the building process. It's gonna save you thousands of dollars potentially. I'm gonna talk about something in the video a little further along that pertains to, if you're not doing everything in the beginning, you're not planning right in the beginning, you're not choosing your selections, you don't have things accounted for, even though you're picking those exact same things down the road, you're gonna end up paying a lot more money for that. So it's so crucial to do these certain steps in the beginning to avoid change order fees and markups and things like that. So check out the course and the details below. Back to the video. If a builder is giving you a fixed price, it's basically saying, I'm gonna build the house for this amount. Now, there are gonna be, in most cases, allowances that are put into the fixed price contract for certain things like your driveway, your site improvements, building permits, flooring, lighting. Those amounts can still change. That's why it's crucial to make sure that you do your selections prior to finalizing a building contract with the builder. Because if he's giving you a fixed price and then you're just estimating for allowances, well, based off of the last job that we did, this is how much the driveway was, or this is what the flooring allowance was that we used in our model. But maybe you're not gonna be picking that same type of flooring. So those allowance amounts can change. So even though you've got the fixed price for the contract, you go and you pick your floors, and the floors that you pick are $2,000 more than what your allowance is, you're gonna be responsible for the difference. So it's very, very important to make sure that you do all of your selections before you finalize the pricing with your builder. And this holds true for even the cost plus scenario. We'll get into that in a second. The other thing that you want to do aside from selections is verify all of the site improvements needed and their costs. If you're on a property and you're 200 feet off the road and there's sewer and there's water at the property, don't just have a guesstimate as to, this is a certain price per foot that's normally used, so this is what we're gonna build in for an allowance. Have the builder's excavator, who's ever gonna be doing that work, get an exact price. Once you've got a survey showing the footprint of your home on the property, the excavator or who's ever gonna be doing that work should be able to look and say, okay, driveway is 250 feet long, got a culvert here, that's gonna take 8 loads of stone, and it's gonna be, $14,000 for the stone driveway and culvert. Same with sewer and laterals, sewer and water laterals. So you may be 200 feet off the road, but is the sewer and the water on your side of the street in the ditch where they can simply just tap into the mains and bring laterals back to your home? Or is it on the other side of the street, which means they have to cut open the road or they have to bore under the road, tap into the sewer and water mains, bring it across the street, and then bring it to your house? That can add, $10,000 to $20,000 depending on the scenario, the width of the street and a lot of other things that go into that. So you want to make sure that you're getting exact amounts for the well is something that is really hard to get an exact amount for. That is going to kind of be a best guesstimate and should be based off of what the average cost of wells are going to be. A lot of times the well contractor can look at data from the area that you're going to be in, and they can say, okay, based off of the data here, and a home that we maybe did next door, we're going to have to go down into the ground about 250 feet. Then they can price in the well accordingly. So again, that holds true with any of the site improvements that are needed. Building permits. Make sure that the builder is getting the exact cost for building permits before the contract's finalized. And these are all things I speak from experience on, because we're not perfect as a home builder. We are trying to better ourselves as we go along the way. And the site improvements are always a struggle. It's very hard to look at a property and determine, okay, once we put that basement in the ground, it's going to be sticking 4 feet out of the ground, which means we're going to have an additional, 4 dump truck loads of stone to put into that garage. And that wasn't something built into the contract. So then when the excavator is done and he sends in his bill for that extra stone, we are turning around and then here's a change order. We're not doing markups on the change orders, but we're giving a change order to the customer saying, okay, it required 4 more loads of stone in the garage because we had to keep the top of the walls out of the ground. And so it's really hard to be super accurate on that, but it's better to get some information as opposed to just guesstimate. So have the excavator look at the survey. Okay, how much is the driveway going to be based off of the length of the driveway here? Do you see any trucking, any dirt trucking, dirt that's going to need to be brought off of the lot? The excavator can go out to the lot, they can look at it, and they can say, based upon the elevation of the ground, we're probably going to need to truck off 50 loads of dirt. That's a lot of dirt. If you don't have any money accounted for that in your building contract, that can be, $5,000 to $10,000 out of pocket. I do have a course that I put out that covers all of this, from every single step through the process, as well as comparing builders, how to compare their prices, how to compare their floor plans, how to verify all of the site improvements that you need to account for, everything. So all of this stuff is very crucial to do in the beginning of the process, because your numbers are all put together before you ever even start building the home. So you want to make sure you've got accurate numbers, and that pertains to the allowances as well. So jumping back over to the cost plus scenario, it's still just as crucial to get all of these amounts in the beginning. Even though, yes, there is a possibility that once your house is being built, the builder takes delivery of the windows and the window prices went up by $500. Shingle prices went up by $600. You're gonna get the bill that shows you, okay, the shingles actually ended up costing $600 more today based off of what we paid compared to our estimate that we had, that we put your pricing together on. So there's still opportunities for you to have overages in either scenario. There's more opportunity in the cost plus scenario to have overages. But again, if you're doing all of your selections and you're getting estimates from all of the contractors that are going to be involved with the site improvements, it can really limit the amount of overages. Honestly, if you're just going to get hit with, let's put lumber aside, because that's the biggest X factor. And we had an instance a couple years ago where we had a lumber bid for, this much. And by the time we took delivery of it, it was this much. It had quadrupled in price. And that is obviously a big problem for anybody. Now, even in a fixed price, because that is something that happened, we as a builder now have a clause in the building contract that is specific to lumber. So yes, we're giving a fixed price, but we're also saying this is what lumber is today. And we've got a date on there. And then it says, if lumber changes in price by the time we take delivery of it, the customer is responsible for that. So in a cost plus scenario, that's still going to be the same case, but then anything else, any other products that go up in price, you're going to be responsible for that difference. So there are a lot of little things that can add up there. But again, if you're doing all of your selections, and the selections are so crucial, countertops, floors, cabinets, If you are putting a building contract together and cabinets are just based off of an estimate or maybe what was in the model, countertops, same thing. You close on the building contract and then you go and you actually pick out your countertops, you pick out your cabinets. Oh, it's $10,000 more than what we had in the building contract. At that point, you're paying for that stuff out of pocket. And a lot of times, this is where the course that I have can save you a lot of money, because when you're looking for all of these things in the beginning, you're not going to get hit with making changes. So even though you hadn't picked your countertops yet, there was an amount budgeted into your contract. You went and you picked out countertops. The countertops were a higher amount. So the countertop company sending pricing to your builder's looking at it and saying, okay, there's a difference here. The builder, ourselves included, are marking things up. I mean, we have to, any builder does, you have to have markups on certain things. If somebody upgrades something and there's additional paperwork that needs to get done that says we're changing from this to this, or we're doing this, and we're spending time putting that together, we're spending time notifying subcontractors that things have changed, we've got to get paid for that. That's just part of the business. And this is where you can save money. So if you're doing all of your selections in the beginning and you pick everything out from the beginning, all of your pricing, your contract pricing, whether it's fixed price, whether it's cost plus, it's all going to be based upon what you picked. You're not going to make any more selections. There's not an opportunity for you to a big opportunity for you to go and upgrade your cabinets and then now have a change order where the builder takes what the difference is in the cabinets, they mark it up. A lot of builders have change order fees, so you're gonna get hit with the change order fee as well, and those can all add up. So if you're picking out your cabinets ahead of time, well, those cabinets that you picked they're factored into your pricing. That's what's there. The builder isn't then getting something else from the cabinet company down the road where he's got to make changes, he's got to write up, he's got to do the math to see what the differences are, he's got to put time into it, he's got a new cabinet layout that he needs to disperse now, where again, there's going to be markups on that stuff. So if you do all of your selections in the beginning from the get-go, you're going to save money on change order fees and markup fees. You may ask, is it better to do a fixed price contract or is it better to do a cost plus contract? A lot of people will say, I want cost plus because I want to know exactly what the builder markup is. I want to make sure they're not marking up too much. But then the downfall with that is, again, a lot of times a contract can get put together today and we won't take delivery of lumber and pay for lumber for 2 or 3 months from now. There's a lot that can happen, and I can almost guarantee between today, which is February 2nd, 2023, and 3 months from now, I can guarantee that lumber prices are gonna be higher and that a lot of other things are gonna be higher as well. So it may be great to be able to see exactly what that builder's cost is and make sure he's not screwing you and doesn't have a crazy markup in there, but then at the same time, you're responsible for any of those differences. From a builder standpoint of view, it is a little more work with the cost plus because you do have to share everything with the customer, and the customer could look at bids and say, well, this looks high to me, let's get another bid from somewhere else. You as the customer, you're not really familiar with all that type of stuff. So it may, yes, the electrician's bid at $26,000 may look real, I'm like, wow, really $26,000? But that's what it is on a certain size house. So things may look really high to you, and then you're telling the builder, okay, I want you to get a price from somebody else. And if you're in that position as a builder where it's cost plus, it's kind of hard to tell the client, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going with these costs here. And so when you're doing a fixed price from a builder's perspective, it's easy to just say that here, we priced up the house, you did your selections based off of all the information that we have. This is what the contract price is. This is what we're going to build for. And then I don't really need to explain. I don't need to show cost breakdowns. I don't need to say, this is exactly how much lumber was. This is exactly how much framing was. This is exactly how much the trim carpentry was. I don't have to worry about explaining all of that stuff. Now the advantage for a builder in doing a cost plus is he's not going to get burned. If we give a fixed price to somebody and things do skyrocket or changes happen and we don't properly record them, or something happens where there was a misunderstanding and the customer thought they were supposed to get this, but we thought they were supposed to get this, and the thing that the customer wanted is more money. A lot of times we'll just, as a builder, okay, no problem. We want to have give our customers a good building experience, and we don't want to nickel and dime over every single thing. But then we end up losing money like that. In a cost plus scenario, we wouldn't. So those are the two differences, from a builder's perspective. From a customer's perspective, it's kind of the same thing. Again, with the cost plus, you're going to get hit with every little overage. You can see exactly what the builder's making, which is great. With a fixed price, again, you're going to have allowances in there, so you want to make sure those allowances are accurate, because those can change. Those aren't fixed. Those can basically, flooring allowance, $15,000, but you pick out your flooring and it's $17,000. Your fixed price included the $15,000 allowance, but now you still have to pay the difference between what you had in there for a flooring allowance and what the floors actually cost at $17,000. So those are kind of the differences there. So I don't really know that from a customer standpoint that one is better than the other. Maybe you've built before and you've gone one way over another, and so you have a preference there. But that's really all I got for this one. I wanted to just talk about those two differences and why a builder, when he gives you a price, it can change, unfortunately. So that's all I've got for this one. I hope you found some valuable information in here. Take care and God bless.